Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates and everything we know about Star Wars Squadrons. First of all, apologies again for not covering the gameplay reveal, but like I mentioned prior to the reveal, I was away on a trip. But I figured now that we've gotten the gameplay reveal, the reveal trailer, articles, interviews, developer comments on Twitter and Discord and Reddit, and a lot of stuff, I wanted to compile that into one big video talking about everything we know about Star Wars Squadrons, because there's been a lot more information than what's been in the official trailers and reveals. So I've done the best I can to research all of that and put it into this video, so even if you've seen the official stuff, hopefully you will learn something new in this video. Also wanted to give a shout out to my sponsor Elgato and their newest product, the Wave Link and Wave 1 microphone that you're hearing right now. If you're interested in hearing more about those products, make sure to check out my video I released last week. But now, let's dive straight into it. Just for the sake of it, let's start off with the base information. Star Wars Squadrons is a first-person starfighter combat game that is set post Return of the Jedi with the New Republic versus the remnants of the Empire. The release date is October 2nd and it will cost $40 and will be released on Steam, Origin, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. It's currently unclear if it's going to be on the newer gen consoles or not. It does have cross-platform support both between console to console and console to PC, which is very exciting news. The game will also be available to be played in VR fully on PC and PlayStation 4, taking flying to the next level, and they've confirmed that hands-on throttle and stick controls will also be supported, although they haven't yet given us a confirmed list of supported devices yet. These are also the pre-order bonuses if you pre-order the game, which includes flight suits, starfighter skins and decals for both sides. And they have also said that they have no plans to release any other edition than the one they currently have, so it seems like there will not be a deluxe edition of this game. Something else that's pretty important is that they've confirmed that there will be no microtransactions in the game. They've said that the game will feature rich cosmetic and game-affecting customization options, but you will earn these through gameplay exclusively. So what if we head over to the gameplay? There will be three main modes, which is story, dogfights, and fleet battles. But before we get into those, I wanted to go over the gameplay basics. The game is played in 5-man squadrons, and there's 4 ship classes with 8 ships in total. The first one is the fighter class, which has the X-Wing and TIE Fighter. And then we have the bomber class, which is the Y-Wing bomber and the TIE bomber. And then the interceptor class, containing the A-Wing interceptor and the TIE interceptor. And lastly, the support class, containing the U-Wing and the TIE Reaper. In terms of the roles of these classes, the fighter is the most versatile, flexible, and can handle most situations, and is also recommended for newer players to use because of the way it's balanced. The interceptor is the fastest and most maneuverable class, ideal for taking out other fighters, but comes with a lower toughness and will therefore die easier. The support class is made to keep your teammates stocked up and repaired, as well as disrupt enemy fighters, but it does come with a lower firepower than the other classes. And lastly, we have the bomber class, the most offensive ships with the highest firepower in the game, ideal for taking out starfighters and capital ships, but also the slowest and least maneuverable class out there. Here you can see how the stats differ between the classes, but you can also see some slight differences between the different factions. As you can see, the TIE Fighter has a higher firepower and speed than the X-Wing, but it does have a lower toughness. So although the biggest difference is between the various classes, there's also going to be a little bit of a difference between the factions. As for the customization and progression in the game, you can unlock and upgrade over 50 different components to your ship that will alter the way you play, as well as tons of cosmetics to both your ship exterior, cockpit and pilot. This ranges from tractor beams, ion cannons, shields, supply droids, ion bombs and much more, and you can customize the loadout to your specific squadron's tactics. As for the cosmetics, they've already shown various ship skins, pilot outfits, races, and cool little cockpit cosmetics such as this Ewok that you can all unlock through playing the game. Ian Fraser, the creative director on the game, said the following about the currencies and progression in the game. I can't go into too much detail on that. I can tell you that when you play, you're going to be unlocking 2 different kinds of currencies. One of those currencies is for cosmetic stuff to make your pilot look and sound cool, and to make your ships look and sound cool. The other one is more mechanical. It's how you're getting those components that let you change how your ships behave. Personally, I think that's good. You shouldn't have to choose between cosmetics or gameplay, so I'd rather have them split up like that, which is good to hear. You will have 7 ship component slots to customize in total, including the primary weapons, 2 auxiliary slots, countermeasures, hull, shields and engines. But keep in mind that not all ships do have shields, so that's not applicable for something like the TIE Fighter. Ian also went on to say the following about the modifications. Ship modifications are going to play a huge part in Squadron's combat depth, and Fraser said they're not just shallow stat buffs. We don't just have, you know, my lasers do 5% more damage. No, it's chunky stuff even for the passives that make a real difference. So, in short, they're definitely not gonna be like the star cards in Battlefront 2. He also talked a bit about how the ship power systems works, which is quite important, and ship power systems are split between shields, lasers and engines. More power in lasers make them recharge faster for a higher rate of fire, power to engines increases the speed and makes turning sharper, and power to shields, which are directional, front and back, gives your ship a faster recharging damage buffer in the chosen direction. But as an added layer, you'll get bonuses for keeping each system fully powered. Overcharging the engine builds up an extra bit of boost you can use to get out of a rough situation, or to pull a wild drift maneuver. Cut the boost midstream and you'll be able to spin around rapidly to change the direction or get some shots off at your pursuer. And overcharging the lasers grants extra damage for a short amount of time, while overcharging shields grants you a second layer of protection for a bit. Ian says that overcharging the abilities are there to break the death loop problems that dogfighting games often have. They're chasing you, you're chasing them, and you can never escape, which is something you can probably relate to if you played Battlefront 2 or even the original Battlefront games, so that's something I'm very glad that they are addressing here. As for the UI, I mentioned previously that this game is first person only, and instead of having your starfighter information through UI like in Battlefront 2, you will have all of these elements in your cockpit showing your power management, status indicators, sensors and much more, making it a real flying experience. They did say that there's going to be a few UI elements on the screen, but you can disable those if you want a 100% clean flying experience. So now over to the game modes. Before we get into the main part of the game, they've actually said in an interview that there's going to be a prologue, and this is what they said. We actually start with a prologue, so when the game starts off, it's set right after the Death Star has blown up Alderaan. I'm going to say this now because people are going to tell us we made a mistake, but we didn't, because when you watch our character creation sequence, you will see the rebel symbol and not the New Republic symbol. That's because in character creation you are still a rebel. So you're creating your characters for this moment that happens in the time period of the original films. Some stuff happens that sort of helps set up the story, and after prologue is done, we say, okay, do you want to keep going with the story or do you want to check out the PvP? We sort of open up the game to you, and that's the big time jump. As soon as that little prologue is over, you're now in the meat of the game, which is all set post Endor. So I think that seems like a neat way to start off the game, and I think it's good that they probably brought that up, as a lot of people might be thinking, why is there a rebel symbol when we're supposed to be playing the New Republic? So now over to the main 3 game modes. First of all, we of course have the story. Play as a pilot on both sides, either the Empire or the New Republic, and these pilots are customizable. It's not 100% clear exactly how much you can customize them, but it's not going to be a set character like in many other campaigns. And the campaign is set post Return of the Jedi except for the prologue. And you will have increasingly harder missions when you play the story. The New Republic and Empire are more close in power during this timeline, which is why it's going to be more head-to-head combat across the stars as compared to during the Galactic Civil War, when obviously the Empire was quite overpowered. The second game mode and the first multiplayer game mode is Dogfights, a very simple 5 vs 5 squadron PvP battles with a classic team deathmatch setting. Simply kill them more than they kill you, and you can customize your loadout for the mode with things such as turrets, mines and tractor beams. But the big signature mode of Star Wars Squadrons are fleet battles. This is a multi-stage game mode that you play with 5-man squadrons, and before you join the actual game, you can go into a social hub and coordinate tactics and loadouts together with your fellow teammates. But you can also play this game mode completely alone with and against AI. And Jay, the community manager on Star Wars Squadrons, did also confirm that even if you play this in 5 vs 5 PvP situations, there will still be AI in the game mode filling out the space around you, basically. So although you can play with AI only, there's always going to be AI present even if you play PvP. And this is a multi-stage mode, and the first phase is basically to win the initial dogfight in the middle. And the second part is attack or defend medium-sized capital ships, and lastly you get the chance to disable the subsystems of the massive flagships to take it down. So each phase you either push forward or fall back to defend depending on how your squadron is doing. And Ian also confirmed here that these PvP fleet battles will actually be ranked, so hopefully the matchmaking will be a little bit better than in something like Battlefront 2. But keep in mind that the fleet battles are only ranked in PvP situations, not if you're playing with and against AI. Moving on, we have the 6 locations confirmed for this game. First of all, we have Yavin Prime, a massive gas giant located in the Outer Rim, and one of its moons, Yavin 4, was home to the rebel base we can see in A New Hope. And then we have Esselis, and inside Esselis' ice ring, the Empire conceals a listening post that the New Republic is eager to destroy. Then we have the Nadiri Dockyards, a hidden starship manufacturing facility with great importance to the New Republic, and they will defend it at all costs. And then we have Sisibu, the 7th planet in the Chandrila system, which is surrounded by the remnants of salvaged Imperial ships. And then we have Galitan, a remote moon where the forces of the Turbulent Nebula have pulled the moon apart into an asteroid field of still molten fragments. Sounds like a pretty cool and scary place to fly through. And then lastly, we have the Savian Abyss, a hazardous area in the expansion region filled with asteroids charged with electrical energy from the surrounding maelstrom. So they definitely have some very interesting and unique gameplay elements to incorporate into the game thanks to these different environments. Also a little extra gameplay detail here from Jay, the community manager, saying that so when changing ships, you can either do so after dying, like changing a trooper class in most games, or you can return to your flagship in fleet battles and change ships via its hangar. So it seems like it might be working a little bit differently depending on the game mode. Moving on to some extra information, there will probably be some familiar characters and ships showing up other than the ones I've already mentioned, especially in the campaign. Some of these characters include Hera Syndulla and Wedge Antilles that was spotted in the first reveal trailer, and this could also be the Corvus ship from the Battlefront 2's campaign, which potentially could also mean that we could be seeing Iden or Del in the Star Wars Squadrons campaign as well. That's not something that's been confirmed, but at least I thought that was a nice spot. So lastly, I wanted to cover post-launch support, as that's something obviously people are interested in. They have again said there's not going to be any microtransactions, and when Ian was asked about the post-launch support of this game and if they want to have a live service, he said the following: "Our mindset has been very old school. We're trying to say with this game that we have a $40 price point. We want to feel generous to our players, and we want it to feel like a complete experience. Like, you gave us your $40, here's the game that you will love. Thank you, that's it." This isn't something that we are building around a live service strategy. It's built around a game that is complete and great in its own right. That's not to say we will never add anything. I guess we could, but it's not presented as a live service. So I definitely think this is good. They're not having any deluxe editions, no microtransactions, no live service. It's definitely setting up this game to be a really, really successful game. And I just hope they live up to all the promises and that the game itself plays out as nicely as all of us want it to. But that should be all the details. I'm sure there are some small snippets I've missed somewhere, but hopefully this will give you an idea of everything you can expect from Star Wars Squadrons. If you're new on the channel, make sure to subscribe for more Star Wars Squadrons and Star Wars gaming news and videos. And also stay tuned on the channel, as there will be more videos coming soon, as well as some Battlefront 2 Sooties crossover videos as well. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.